So this is Wellness Wednesday. I am thrilled you are here tonight, and I'm thrilled you all are here tonight because we are talking about creating an inspired and joyful holiday season. My whole goal for this Wellness Wednesday was to head off stress before it happens. So it's de-stressing before stress happens. And as it would happen, I walked into the mall the other day and there was a great big Christmas tree and I went, no, I'm not ready. I'm like, I haven't had my de-stress night. So here we are ready and I can face that Christmas tree next time. My name is Amy Raspiller Bradley. I am owner of Amy's Circle. And this is my fall hoodie that says, be happy, be hooping, be awesome. Because you should be awesome every day and be happy at what you're doing. I wore my yoga shirt today, which is, can somebody read it? I don't know what it is.
Breathe deep.
Love more.
Stay true.
Yay. And
shine bright.
And shine bright. So, that is a little bit about me, but even more so, my story starts with being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and that is how I started hula hooping. And my entire life changed the day I picked up a hula hoop that my husband, thank you dear, bought me, and he thought maybe I could hula hoop like that girl at the festival. And I'm like, yeah, right. Here I am walking with a cane. Can I really do that? And so I did. I was determined to make it go. I needed to get my core stronger. And so I started hula hooping. Then I saw a YouTube TED Talk that made me realize I needed to change my food. So between hula hooping and food and 60 pounds ago, and now I have many hula hoops in my garage, too many. And I take hula hoops around and I work with people. And like you were talking about earlier, it seems to be a thing now wherever I go, I end up, even in the summer, travel and do hula hooping. So that's a little bit about me, but my whole drive and desire to bring you two here tonight is to talk a little bit about each of you, because each of you have certain talents, backgrounds, gifts that I think help with being a more balanced person, and I need to build my little tool belt for the holiday season. Annie and I were talking about it. I'm like, I need tools so that I get through the holidays, and when I see that Christmas tree this week, I'm gonna be like, no problem. I took a picture and I made a face of that. And so I'm gonna introduce my two guests here tonight. For those of you who don't know, and I'm going to use my little cheat sheet that's right here. I failed to print it off before I left, but good news, I got it right here. And what this says does a little more justice than what I would say if I was just pulling it off the top of my head. So I have my friend Annie Stockdale here, and she is owner of Your Total Body Wellness Center.
You got it.
In Venice. I always get it wrong, but today I got it right. And even on my promo, when I said I got it right, I was wrong.
I know.
I forgot to leave I added a little word on there. And like so many of us, has led an interesting journey to her current passion of wellness. At the Wellness Center, she empowers people to achieve their optimal brain health through nutrition. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Exercise and strengthening the mind-body connection, which is huge, right? Hula hoop, spiritual, all of that. And in her center, she offers a lot of modalities: far infrared, sauna, the salt room, whole body vibration, my personal favorite, the Juve light, which is actually what took me in there, and she'll explain what that is. All of these are targeting to reduce inflammation and increase circulation. She recently was introduced to the PEMF device that I actually use at home. And this works to also increase microcirculation. And by doing all of these things, it allows your body to heal. It allows your body to have fuel for health, all of which results in a healthier you. Thank you for joining me today, Annie.
Hey.
And
I did not sense at all.
then I can leave now. And then I have Joy. And I actually have known Joy for a number of years. Annie and I are a recent connection. And when I read Joy's bio, I'm like, I didn't know that. So Joy is a professional in the field of health and wellness for over 20 years. She is a professional level ERYT 500 yoga Kirplani. Say it for me. I know I was going to say it wrong.
ERYT means I'm a registered yoga teacher. The E means that I can teach teachers how to teach yoga.
Oh, she's super special.
And Kripalu is a
Thank you.
location in Western Massachusetts that's a yoga center.
There, she just filled it all in. Meditation, and tell me the next one. You are what's the Prana? I should have asked you these when you guys were talking over there.
Oh, I'm glad you spelled it. I didn't know what was
Prana.
A pranayama instructor. That just means I teach breath work.
Yay! And she's going to talk about that because I think that's like huge. Teacher and coach. She taught in a variety of settings, including yoga studios, hospitals, churches, pools, and the beach. Her passion is teaching and traveling so many places. She has led retreats in Peru, assisted other trip leaders in India and Italy, organized yoga events in exotic locations such as France, New Zealand, Portugal, and has been a guest instructor in resorts in Jamaica. Ah, how nice. In Ohio, where you go from Jamaica to Ohio. In Ohio, where she hails from, she leads workshops and teaches sun yoga.
Stand-up paddleboard yoga.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I knew what sup was, but I'm like, really? Wow, I think I'd fall off. Joy?
And I can do that with a hoop as well.
I have hula hooped on a paddleboard, but not for long. Joy is also the author, this is what I didn't know, of Yo Golf, How to Improve Your Golf Game with One Simple Yoga-Inspired Posture Per Hole. She taught a regular series at a golf club in Ohio, and in addition to workshops and yoga privates to clubs and members of the club. Joy is an Institute for Integrative Nutrition health coach. Yay! She enjoys working one-to-one with clients and also weaves that information into workshops on self-care. In the corporate world, she worked with the state of Ohio to offer wellness grants that empowers two employees who implemented wellness programs in their workplace. Yay! So not enough of that. She is also an accomplished motivational speaker, advocating for climate action, proper nutrition, exercise, quality sleep habits as ways to stay healthy for life. She has studied and enjoys practicing the practice of everyday shamanism. She leads shamanic ceremonies and encourages participation to find, I'm gonna have to like read that again. Okay, I'm gonna read it again because I can edit this out. This is great. She has studied and enjoys the practice of everyday shamanism. She leads shamanic ceremonies that encourages participants to find the medicine inside them. She especially enjoys sharing her love of hula hooping. Whoop whoop. There's nothing that enlivens up a party as a pile of hula hoops and some good music. Whoa.
Good job.
I couldn't agree more because I'm like such a hula hoop fan. As a matter of fact, I recently was, I was invited to a party. Turns out I was the music and the hula hoops. I'm like, whoop whoop, that's great, I'll bring them, I don't care. It was fun. So, thank you for being here, Joy. Sorry, I just totally, some of those names, I'll just edit over it. It'll be
Happy to
great.
be here.
Thank you. All right, so wellness. I love what both of you, when you talk about wellness. So we're just gonna have this little conversation about wellness and I'm just gonna listen to you guys go. So what do you think of, tell me just a little bit about your backstory though, because you have not always been in wellness, so just tell me that. Where did you start?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because now that I think about it, when I was a teenager, my brother and my sister both worked at a racquetball club. And my girlfriend and I used to go play racquetball, and I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to have a job that you can just work out all day long?
There you go.
And then I became a personal trainer. So
Right.
I sort of fulfilled that
Thought.
vision back when I was a teenager. But between being a teenager and now, I was just a few years. Yeah, a little bit. I actually was with the Department of Interior, the National Park Service, and worked my way up through their legal divisions, and became the prosecutor in Yosemite National Park. And I did that for a number of years. And then I actually, within the National Park Service, you're a paralegal specialist, and they can be a prosecutor. And I finally decided, well, I could even be the oldest living paralegal, or I could actually go to law school. So I started law school at 40 years of age.
Wow.
And went through law school and immediately got a job then here in the state of Florida as an assistant state attorney in Florida, which was great because both of my parents lived in Inglewood, which is just down the road here. Which what brought me to Venice is my parents were snowbirds between Pittsburgh and here. So Inglewood was sort of like my second home for numbers of years. And but I was busy being an attorney, and my dad got sick, got cancer, and he passed. And then my mom got sick, and I decided, well, there needed to be a change because I couldn't be busy being an attorney. I needed to be with my mom. So I created this other career, including health and wellness. I became a personal trainer and had the flexibility to get her to her chemo treatments and this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, it's interesting looking back on it now. I thought exercise was everything back then. But I realized looking back at the way my parents ate, that really was nutrition. That was the key. And then, so I went from being a personal trainer into more of the health coach and looking more at nutrition. And then, and then what I realized really what the key was, is you have to be able to have a clear thought. And that's what led me to then brain health. And I think that is the key, that's the beginning, that's the starting point of everything tying with nutrition. And now that we know like with Alzheimer's and dementia and all these other conditions, that it's directly tied to our nutrition and our stress levels and our sleep and our hydration and whatnot. So what the Wellness Center really represents now is, you know, the total wellness beginning. It's sort of all focusing now around brain health, and everything in there supports proper brain health.
So I was listening to a podcast because I just love listening to different podcasts, and it was talking about the right foods for your brain. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, those are all the right foods for your body too. I mean, if you feed your brain the right foods, you're feeding your body the right foods, and then it all comes together. And so that just rolls right into joy and, you know, wellness for you. When you think of wellness and somebody says, Joy, what's wellness to you? What's your response?
So just a little bit about my backstory.
Yeah.
So I had a 31-year-long career with the state of Ohio in the corporate world, and I was not too far into that when I'm like, okay, I need something in the background to kind of keep me even keel. You know, because that was a fairly high stress job, and that's when I grabbed for yoga. So I grabbed for yoga a long time ago. And if I were going to answer the question, what wellness is to me, it's the absence of dis-ease. And what I mean by that is not just the body, not just the brain, you know, like it's the absence of it's disease. I mean, it has to do with your relationships with people. It has to do with what you eat. It has to do with your thoughts. It has to do with moving your body. It has to do with finding some stillness. It has to do with connecting with your heart. I mean, like it has to do with all of these different aspects. I mean, like you could go all the way around a clock with different things that can cause you to feel uneasy, and just sort of like finding a way to deal with all of those and bringing your body back into a place where you're just peaceful and easy. Like the Eagles said it pretty well. Peaceful, easy feeling.
I should have that on a playlist. That's great. Sure. I would actually put that music in the background. I'm so talented.
Hey, we're using it.
I know, we're just going to put it in the background. You're so right. You're so right. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about food. And I didn't even have that on the cards, okay? But we'll just talk a little bit about food. And my journey to food was different, and so it's kind of a relationship thing. So interestingly, you mentioned that it's a relationship between all the things you do, the foods you eat, the people you hang out with, those environments. And for me, the relationship for food was really, it changed overnight instantaneously. And my husband husband could probably attest to that, because for me it was a choice of potentially being in a wheelchair or hoping that I'd still get to run and play with my youngest daughter or my grandkids. And at that point I only had one grandchild, but I just felt like I can do this. I can do this. I don't have to have the pizza. I don't need the brownies, and I can do this. And so I just, it was interesting, because sometimes there's that motivation for people, and sometimes people don't have that motivation right away. But for me, I guess I was really lucky that my brain just went, no, this is a choice you're making. And so when I started hula hooping and eating foods, and really it wasn't that I started cooking, a great big, good veggie dishes and everything else. I was just shoving anything I could into a blender, and I did 2 smoothies a day, and then I had my meal with my family. And it was all about just getting much vegetables, especially greens, in that blender, because I knew it was important. And so my relationship then changed, and then interestingly, certain foods became not very good when I ate them later. So even now, if I eat foods that just don't agree with me, it's great, because I know I don't need it, and it's because my body went, no, I don't like that. I like that green stuff. And so, or if I eat something and then I end up half the night, it's just so not worth it. So the food, because the holidays are a really tough time for food. So not only are we finding a way to throw some de-stressing ideas into our tool belt, we have to talk about how to walk into that party that has the foods that maybe you really don't want. I hate it when I go into a party and then I trash the good foods that I eat and everything else. So just give me your thoughts. I've been sitting here rambling on about food. Give me your thoughts about food and your thoughts about food. I know. So fun.
Rock, scissors, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and
Rock, scissors, all right. Can we do
I'll
that?
just jump in. I think the best way to get ready for the holidays is to get ready now. Is to get your body cleaned out, get rid of the sugar monkey on your back, so that when you walk into that party, you're not going to be tempted at all. Like with my clients, I can tell who's at the point where they can walk past the cookies and the cakes and go give someone a hug. And all of that is going to have no emotional response whatsoever. Because the holidays are about the people and the spirit, and it's not about what's on those plates. But once, to get to that point, you've got to get out of being sugar dependent. And that takes a process. It's, usually at least about 3 weeks is what I tell people, is to get the sugar out of your system. Refined sugars. And even, I tell people the only fruit I want you having is berries, because they're the lowest amount of sugar, but they're beautiful.
And yummy.
And they're yummy. Like before I came here, I had a bowl of blueberries, raspberries, some coconut flakes, and some walnuts. And it was fabulous. You can make that kind of a dish to take it to a Christmas party. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's a good place to get to, because I think you mentioned that too, that you pack one. You talked about bringing a dish.
Oh, I actually think it was Andy, but I don't go hungry.
Right.
Don't go hungry. It's like going to the grocery store. Don't go hungry.
I go sort of full to start with, and I always take something that I would eat myself.
Exactly.
So I'll sometimes spend $35 on a huge bowl of fresh berries, and I'll put mint with it from my backyard.
There you go. Yep.
I'll throw some walnuts or some, some pecans in it.
Yeah.
So I've got a good oil, and I've got some nice berries, and then I've got something I can eat if I want. I also think it's pretty important to take something to drink. I love cold pressed juice. I love, LaCroix if you want something bubbly and a lime or something, because I can get pretty sidetracked with wine or things to drink. And what I generally do is I'll drink everything I've taken. So I usually have a cold pressed juice. I usually have some LaCroix. Maybe I'll mix them together, and I'll have like myself a little or a couple mocktails.
Make them look pretty.
Twist the lime, twist the lemon.
Exactly.
I grab a lemon from my lemon tree out front. And if I burn through all of that and want a glass of wine, I'm gonna have it. I don't I don't think that you have to be so strict with yourself that you can't have any of it, but I put it at the end.
Well, see, and that's one of the things that I tell them. With the holidays, instead of, and those people, they say, you know what, I'll wait till after the holidays to get healthy or whatever. So for 2 months, they're just trashing their health.
Yeah.
Right? And you can take those holidays, if you're going to someone's house for dinner, eat a healthy breakfast, eat your healthy lunch, hydrate yourself. When you go there, if there's like 1 or 2 things that just are really special, and that if you would like a glass of wine, enjoy it. But to be able to enjoy that glass of wine or that chocolate-covered whatever.
Chocolate-covered almonds.
Well, it could be cheesecake. We're gonna go with it. But enjoy it, and don't feel guilty about it. But then, when it comes time for breakfast, then eat your healthy breakfast. The holidays are not an excuse to eat trash for 2 months and really do your harm.
I think that's really, and I think that's part of why I wanted to just get together tonight is to really kind of just head off where we tend to go sometimes, and that's one of the places. It's like, well, it's a vacation. It's a 2-month vacation, and so it's great, And so those are the things that I do. One of my favorite take-alongs to a holiday party is I love roasted Brussels sprouts, and you wrap them in bacon, and you stick a toothpick in it, and you can take a nice big pan of that, and I know I have something I can eat. And I generally will do a smoothie and take it with me, or I bring kombucha, which I have some over there for my drink, and then for me, I know I really need to stick to one drink because anything else just goes right to my head. And your point for drinking everything you brought first, drink your water, drink your liquids and all of that, because then you've already hydrated your body and you're not drinking your yummy blueberry wine and then thinking, oh, I want another one because I'm still thirsty. Well, then you've already had enough liquids. So those are our tips. 1, take something you eat and like. Go give that friend a hug instead of first, going to the food.
Well, you're socializing with people. You're not socializing with what's on the plate.
Well, sometimes, depends on whether there's chocolate covered. I'm kidding.
Well, there's this theory. It's called presence equals preference. Right? If it's there, you're going to go.
Oh, yeah. That's why you don't put it in your pantry.
You don't put it in your pantry.
Yeah.
So, right, exactly. If you didn't see it, you wouldn't want it. So.
And I think that I sort of like to finish up where Annie started, with the brain health, it's really important.
Yeah.
If you're giving your body good fats, you're not going to be craving the sugars as much. You're not going to.
No, it's true.
If you start that process now.
And even at the party, a homemade guacamole from avocados. Take that. You're going to get full. You're just not going to want it as much.
Those little peppers, those little yellow, I think they're little sweets or something, the yellow, orange, red ones, you cut them in half, scoop out the seeds, they're like little scoopers. How festive is that with guacamole?
Delicious, yeah.
Right, and you can still have fun.
Joy walks into your house with avocados.
Yay!
I brought them.
She just walks in, she hands it to you because she has a tree, and I think it's great. I do not have an avocado tree.
I have coconut trees too. And am I planting things that I want to eat? I do kind of want to sort of say that too. I'm planting things that I want to eat. I've got a goji berry bush going in the front yard. I bet you I had 15 pineapples this year from my yard, and they were and all you have to do to grow a pineapple is cut the top off one that you bought at the store and stick it in the ground, and it goes. It's not hard.
That's crazy. Crazy awesome.
Beautiful.
And I had no idea where they came from before, and then I saw them in somebody's yard, and I went, what's this? And it wasn't your yard, it's somebody else's, but then I saw them in her yard, and I'm like, I don't know why I don't stick them in my yard, right? So, other topic, now I'm going to start with you on this one, because talking about those holiday stress triggers, and I think one of the keys is knowing what your triggers are. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things for some people and one of the easiest for others. And some people may be like, oh, I'm going to this party, I can't stand anybody there, and that's why they start drinking the wine before they drink their other stuff. Or, finding other ways to manage it. But for you, talk to me a little bit about your thoughts on that, and because I want to kind of go into your breath work and kind of that mind-body connection. So share with me kind of a little bit about where you are in that kind of a space.
So what I like so much about meditation and mindfulness practices is it gives you sort of a heads up earlier what your triggers are. Before I meditated a lot and had mindfulness practices, I might find myself 2/3 of the way through a bag of potato chips before I realized that I was stress eating because I didn't want to go see my sisters, or whatever. Not bad, in case they're watching, but but really,
somebody else's sisters, right?
the knowing what's bubbling up, whether it's the other thing that I don't like is having to take a present that doesn't mean anything to me or to them just to take up a present, when I honestly think a really heartfelt compliment would do as much as a $5 candle you bought from Bell's Outlet that they don't like and you don't like, and you're re-gifting it or whatever. So that's another one of my stressors. I don't want to go to that party. Well, I haven't. I take avocados. I take pineapples.
Absolutely.
I have been doing that. I really do. And I
what you can do is just stick get those teeny tiny bows, stick a bow on the avocado. That'd be great. Here you go. Actually, one of the best gifts that somebody ever brought me was at a party after I had done some recovery and lost some weight, and they came into my 50th birthday party. She brought a bouquet of kale.
There you go.
She carried kale in, and her husband thought she was crazy, and she was so on the money because I was so excited, because up until that point in my life, I had not been eating greens. And so when she walked in with these 2 bunches of kale, I was like, this is the best, because I just felt like somebody understood the journey I had just come through with food. And so I echo that. That's great.
And I got sidetracked. I'm sorry I do that.
Okay. Sidetracking is good.
But the point that I wanted to make is, with mindfulness or with meditation, you get the sense that you're going into a stress response sooner. And I just take 3 deep breaths. And my little trick is I'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And I try to make my exhales about twice as long as my inhales. So if I'm breathing in for 3, I'm breathing out for 6.
I can do that again.
And that's
In for 3.
In for 3. Inhale. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And
it's like a soft landing. It just brings you right back down, so that you're not up here anymore. It just kind of calms you down. And I mean, that's a trick for the holidays. For me, that's a trick in traffic, because as we come into season in Florida, which is also
we're in Florida.
holidays.
For anybody who's watching this from somewhere else, if you happen to pick it up on my YouTube channel, we are in Florida, and season has hit pretty much in the last few weeks. And any place that we used to go that took us like maybe 10 minutes, now it's going to take us about 20 or a little bit more. And Lord help you if there's been an accident on 75 and you're stuck in it because you're not getting off. So it just doesn't, there's not an effect, you just don't. So those are the things that do indeed creep up. So you're right. And then if you're in some other metropolitan city, you get it, or just in the mall parking lot.
Yeah.
If that mall is still a mall that's going. So Annie, you were talking about when we were talking about this beforehand, some similar thoughts on what Joy had to say, but going into that party, being ready for that party, especially if there's going to be some triggers there. Oh my goodness, Mickey just said good evening on my watch. I'm like, what is that? What's talking?
Hi,
Mickey. Mickey's right there.
We had talked, I think in the trailer leading up to this, that you're going to see
The trailer isn't that fun. I'm so technical.
the teaser that we did leading up to this.
Yes.
You're going to see people in the holidays that you haven't seen, right? And you don't know what's gone through their life since the last time you saw them. And, you know, and if you haven't seen them since then, you know, you're almost getting reacquainted with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, incorporating this into the brain health, what you look at is going to be a trigger is your past memory of your last experience with them.
Huh.
So you're taking your past memory of them and you're bringing it right back to the future, and you're getting upset about it before it even happens. Right?
No, that never happens.
So you're creating a repeat of what happened last year. So just let go of the past memory. Creating a more positive anticipation of the meeting, right? Because that's what being in the present is all about. Let go of the garbage from the past.
So I
yeah.
listened to something right on that note.
Okay.
Can I jump in?
Was it an
It was
sure.
right. I'm sure. It was actually talking about anchor points. So what you're really talking about is an anchor, giving yourself an anchor point before you walk in. I heard this on a podcast by Mel Robbins, and she was talking about anchor points, so that you're going into a situation, especially if it could be potentially stressful. Maybe
Right.
people that you had that last experience that wasn't so good. So you change that experience in your mind before you walk in. So you anticipate yourself just being the life of the party, or the nicest person, or you walk up and you're just, you know, it's going to be a good interaction, and you envision that interaction happening and being positive, and that's where you anchor your thoughts then.
Yep.
And so that also works with, you know, like, say you get stressed out about being in an elevator. Well, you think about where you're going to be at the other end of that elevator ride. Who are you going to be with, especially if you're claustrophobic? So it's about finding that anchor point. So that's a good point.
Yeah, so you can do that with anything, with a meeting that you're going into or a family gathering, especially if there's family members that you've had antagonistic interactions.
Of course not. Never.
Just to create a more, you know, just envision a more, and I think I used the word compassionate encounter. Now, if you get there and it doesn't happen, right? That person hasn't changed. And you get there, my mom had a saying, she goes, just don't be there. If you get into a situation, there's a conversation that's making you uncomfortable, protect your space, like protect your well-being. Excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, go for a walk, do your breath work, go say a little prayer, whatever, just get out of the situation. You know, if there is animated or whatever's going on, they won't even mention. But seriously, you have to protect your well-being, and that's what I'm all about, is protecting, you know, setting your boundaries and protecting your well-being. And so just don't be
Right. I think that's a good one overall, and I like the thought of just going into.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll just plant a smile on my face and I'll start breathing from my heart, and they might think I'm still there, but I'm on the beach in Jamaica.
There you go.
I'm just like, I look like I'm here, I've got a smile on my face, I don't need to shut my eyes to meditate, I'm breathing from my heart, I'm radiating love. So I haven't gone negative back on them. I'm deflecting.
Yep.
I've got a shield
Yep.
around me. They're not gonna
Enter your
Nickelodeon
space.
goo all over me.
Right. They're not going to enter your space. So tell me a little bit about, because I know very little bit about it. I mean, I understand what yoga is. I know what meditation is. Shamanistic, did I say it right? Ceremonies. So tell me a little bit about that, just so I know a little bit more about you before we conclude our conversation.
So shamanism is a big word. I don't have any magical powers.
Obviously, a word I have issues saying.
And for me, it's just a closeness with nature, and I have felt that since I was a little girl climbing trees, and I didn't actually realize that I've loved the earth and I've loved nature from the very beginning. I'd rather be in a forest than a city. I'd rather be growing my own vegetables than buying them in the market. I just like being that close to earth. And, you know, I believe she's alive. I believe she takes our waste and recycles it and turns, pardon my language, the and she turns it to fertilizer. I mean, that's how powerful she is. You know, so I sort of start with coming back to nature, and that brings me right back to myself. And so that's when I'm doing any shamanic ceremony, that's kind of what I'm trying to remind people of, is their feet are touching the earth, and they should walk as though every footstep is a kiss on her. And so that's kind of where it starts. It starts with a deep gratitude and love for nature.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And that walking, being outside, walking, for me, it's that walk on the beach, you know, and that's where I can kind of let go the whole day. And if I don't have the beach, I have a hula hoop. So for me, that's the hula hoop that kind of saves me, and that's where I can meditate and go. And the hula hoop for me is time and space, and I don't need anybody else with me. I totally enjoy hula hooping with lots of people, but I don't have to have lots of people around. So I echo that in kind of the same way and in another way. And if you do meditation and yoga, and I know now, tell me, are you doing it at any locations now, or are you just kind of, if somebody wanted to reach out and connect with you about you and your connections and what you're doing, they could certainly, do you do any classes of any kind at all anymore?
I'm not doing group classes right now.
No.
I'm doing privates and personal training.
So I'll include her information in the notes if anybody's interested in kind of finding out a little bit more about Joy, and if she would be interested in doing a private with you. And then also, I have my friend Annie here, who's totally the opposite of you. She's got a space and everything else, Your Total Body Wellness Center in Venice, and she has a list of different things that you have at your place, because for me, I saw the word Juve light, because that's about giving your body the light that you don't get when you're hanging out inside and not out in the sun and everything else. But why don't you do me a favor and just list kind of the things that you have briefly, and how people can connect with you.
Well, I'm going to go back to, and we haven't talked about this, but connecting with Earth, and then you talked about sunset. One thing that I'm going to be starting at sunrise, what I'm going to be calling gratitude walks. There's something about your pineal gland at sunrise activates it, and taking walks, probably Maxine Barrett Park for now. If anyone's interested, and I'm going to call it a gratitude walk, and we'll learn more about it then. But it's either Saturday or Sunday morning, so if anybody's interested, get in contact with me. I've done a couple, and but you gotta get it somewhere. But you wake up with Mother Earth, and your energies wake up with Mother Earth. And that's it's really pretty magical. But as far as what I have at the Wellness Center, whole body vibration to activate your lymphatic system and increase your circulation.
Love it. It's my favorite thing.
Yep. You know, she was something. The Juve light is a red light, near infrared light panel system that reduces your inflammation in your joints and your muscles, and also increases the circulation in your brain. And the red light actually increases collagen and elastin to improve your skin. So if you have any scars, stretch marks, whatnot, but the reducing of the inflammation was important there. I'm
going to interrupt you. I had seen the Juve light listed on her window, and because I'd heard about it in a podcast, I need to know more about this place, and that's how I connected with Beth, was over that particular.
It was the Juve light.
It was the Juve light. I want to see it. I want to know what it's all about. Tell me. So then, go ahead.
Well, you know what's really great about it is it reduces inflammation without any drugs. You know, we don't have to worry about any kind of interactions with any kind of drugs there. I have a far infrared sauna, which is basically your sweat box that you go in and you sweat out your toxins. Which is very, very important. I got it personally for myself, because that's how most of these things accumulated in my possession was because of me. And because I tested positive for heavy metals in my blood. And so one of the best ways to get rid of the heavy metals in your blood is sweating it out. So that's why I have that. But it also has a thermography unit in it because different lights activate different systems within your body, and because they have different frequencies. And if you're into your chakras, and if you have a blockage with one of your chakras, you can set the light to help unblock that chakra while you're sweating. So, which is very nice. And
I would take crystals in there.
Absolutely,
and
right,
maybe,
exactly.
Even do a chakra illumination from a
Oh,
shamanic
yeah,
standpoint,
absolutely.
so.
You
Oh, I can't wait to see you
multitask.
two together in
We
there.
multitask, yeah. There's like this in there, do this. I have a salt room, which is about a 4-person sauna chamber infused with Dead Sea salt. The salt gets up into your sinuses and into your respiratory system and cleans
Minerals.
out the
Think minerals.
junks. You know, it's like a neti pot or garden with salt water, except you're actually getting that salt up into your sinuses and into your respiratory system. And now that red tide's in town, the phone is starting to ring.
I was coughing a little because of red tide the other day.
Yeah.
And then, what else?
And some personal training.
And personal training.
And some personal training.
Right. So there's just a lot of avenues to take care of yourself, and they don't necessarily cost anything. I think in a lot of ways there's some neat stuff, and then there's also just the breathe stuff. You know what I mean? It's a matter of finding joy in your holiday. So when you sit down tonight, whoever's listening to this, take a moment to sit down and list out the joys you want to feel over the holiday season instead of your to-do list. And put those joys in front of that to-do list. And then you can focus on the joys and the things you want to do. And then interestingly, what you focus on is where you go, right? And so you're still going to have your to-dos, but if you're focused on the joy of being with this family or running to see this friend, or even the joy of collecting certain things that maybe you're collecting for someone, that maybe that'll help inspire a more creative and stress-free holiday. And hopefully some of the tools for breathing and talking about food and heading off some of those food traps when you don't eat before you go to a party will be really helpful for you. I want to thank both my guests, Annie Stockdale with Your Total Body Wellness Center, and my friend Joy Bush, who is so many things and so much more than I even knew before I read her bio. And I need to read it again so I do a better job of it. And I met her through Hoop Circles, and forever will be a Hoop Sister. But so glad you could join us, because I think lots of things help us find balance in the world. So as you go into your holiday season, I hope this helps you be a little de-stressed before you get stressed, and maybe you won't even get stressed at all. So I'm going to take those things and tuck them in my little tool belt and go into a wonderful holiday season. So we have some little pumpkins here. I also brought in a little Christmas tree over there, but they don't scare me now.